Hi, everybody. I just realized that usually I go live on here first, so give me a second to log into that. All right, log in. So funny, I usually do this the absolute reverse. So let me get going here. For those of you that are new, welcome. Well, welcome everybody that is here tonight. And I'm sure people will pop in shortly. I am probably going to go there at some point, but for now, if you do want to ask a question, look over in the comments and there's the phone number that you can call. That's the number I'm calling into right now. Um, and we will, and we can, that way you can ask the question verbally instead of, there we go, free conference call. Sorry about that.
This service is for access code accepted. There are 3 participants in the conference.
Okay, so hello to everyone that's on the telephone. And then I already signed in. I did it backwards this time for some reason. So I was already live and now I have people that are calling in on the phone. I've got you there too. So welcome everyone. Today is the 7-7 portal. Hi there. Today is the 7-7 portal. So I feel pretty sure that the goddess is going to do something with that because number one, well, most of us, just because we're so sensitive to the energies, we go through these changes, we have these experiences, and sometimes we feel them a lot, sometimes we don't feel them at all. And for me, there's a lot of times, like if I feel it, it tends to be very transient, and then I just go on about my business. But I ended up with vertigo last Friday, and I've never had that before in my life. So it was pretty interesting to have that on Friday. And I actually said, hey guys, what do I need to do? This was, of course, after like a couple of hours later. I don't know why I didn't think to do it immediately. But as I said, I don't know if you get my email. Again, another thing backwards. So in my email, I mentioned that they had told me to lay down on the floor, put selenite up by my head, and then I put my feet on, I have a great big, I left it in the other room. I have a great big piece of quartz crystal about this long that's double terminated. And so I put my feet on that, and then I just literally brought that energy, that selenite, which is that cleansing energies for crystals. I brought it all the way through, and I consciously thought of taking everything that was in my brain causing the vertigo or the imbalance, and I brought it down into my spine. I brought it through my spine and then, into the rest of my body. And I did this for like 10, 15 minutes, something like that. I don't think you need to do it that long, but that was just how long I did it. And when I stood up after that, it was like, bingo, back to normal. And so I thought that was really interesting. And I thought that was a really good tool that all of us could use. Another thing about that is if you feel just wonky or something like that, maybe it doesn't have to be selenite, maybe it doesn't have to be quartz, maybe it can be something else. So just ask your guides, ask your higher self, what's the best way for me to rebalance my energies here? And you may get the answer to that. And then another thing, now it's hard to know, I'm in the South, very hot and humid all weekend long, and I was just like, oh, I had zero energy. And even in the house, like I was outdoors a good bit. I went to the lake, I went to the pool, different things like that. But even when I was in the house, it was like I had zero energy to go and do things. So number one, again, I just feel that the fact that I felt things so strongly, that a lot of this is integrating the new source codes. But I also feel that we are going to be more sensitive no matter what's going on around us. So anyway, that's what I was kind of picking up on this weekend. And I think the goddess is going to talk more about that, with us during this channel tonight. And then I was remembering that, 8-8, you always think of the Lion's Gate, but basically you come to every the month, like the 77668899, etc. They're all really powerful portals because of the numerology and because of just energy associated with it. So this 7-7 gate to me is very much about being clear on what you want to put out for the next month, being very clear, and paying attention to where your mind is or your consciousness is. Now, everybody that listens to this or participates in it later, they're still gonna be tapping into that because this is setting up the energy at this place and time. I think that I forget what that book was. There were books I read back in the 90s when I was first opening up, and it talked about how manifestation went from the multiple stages that may take days, weeks, until certain things then were instantly manifested, and how you really needed to pay attention to your thoughts. And so I think now, I don't think it was happening as much in the 90s as what it is right now. I think now we're in that place where we're really, really, really tuned in and tapped into this energy. And there is just so much that is happening. And we have to really, really, really pay attention to where our focus is and being very clear on what we do want instead of getting all wrapped up in, no, that's not how I want it to happen. No, that's because that whatever it is you're putting out there is what the universe hears, and it doesn't judge good, bad, or in between. So just pay attention to that. And I think that's what the goddess is going to talk about tonight. You know how usually I really don't have any idea what she's going to talk about, but this time she's been talking to me because of everything that happened over the weekend. Anyway, so I just wanted to give that little bit. Because we had 5 Mondays in the month of June, we're now on opposite weeks. So the Universal Light Beings was last Wednesday, the 2nd. The next one isn't until next Wednesday. So now they're on opposite weeks, which I personally kind of like because it just spreads things out a little bit and it's not so much that I'm doing all at once. But anyway, those are my announcements. Oh, 2 things. I wrote a blog about artificial intelligence, and I also tapped into El Bayon and did a little mini reading with him. So that's all on Crystalline Transformations and on goddesslight.net. It's right on the homepage, and you can read about that. I actually did some research and things for this one, so there's a bit of information there for you. The other thing that I have gone, that I finally published, and thank you, Heather with Third Eye Studio or Third Eye Design. I forget what it's called. Anyway, she's been helping me with the website and updating some things. And, she does a good job with that. So she's helped me with getting that up and running. This is, you could ask 2 questions, well, up to 2 questions, and then I'll just channel the answer for you, and it can be energy work, whatever, but it's 50 as opposed to 100 for a half-hour session. So if you just have a couple of questions, you just want to get that, get that out there and ask a few things, then you might consider that. You can read about it on my website. All right, so that's what's going on with me. I also, of course, still do the private sessions if you're interested in something more. But anyway, here we are, and welcome, and I'm glad to have everybody here. So let us begin. Oops, OMG, I almost forgot to hit the record button. Of course, I do have it in StreamYard, but anyway, it's just easier to do it when I have it here. Okay, let's see.
All participants are muted. The recording has started.
All right, as we're gathering together this evening, let us begin by focusing on our breathing. Take a deep breath in where you breathe in through your nose and feel that breath of energy and light as it moves in through your nose. It moves down into your lungs and then into your heart. And then as you breathe out, let go of any tension or stress. Let go of anything that may be hanging over you. Take in another breath. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe all the way down into every cell within your body. Have a focused intention that every cell becomes illuminated, that every cell is filled with light, that every cell is here for you at this time. And as you breathe in and out gently and easily, you begin to communicate with your cells. You begin to really let your energy focus inside of you. And every breath that you breathe out, you are consciously letting go anything at all that may be hanging over you or holding you back. Namasika Venia Benya. Namasika Venia Benya. I greet you, beloved family. I reach out from my heart to yours. I reach out at this now moment that we may align with one another. Many, many, many changes are taking place upon the earth. I was going to say massive changes, so massive changes, many changes. Either way, the earth is truly moving into a much higher, lighter frequency. And even though your everyday reality may not reflect it 100%, these changes are absolutely taking effect. When you look at your life, consider, if you will, where you are right now. And then think back 6 months ago. Perhaps it makes you think about the holidays or celebrations or anything that you may have going on. And then look at yourself a year ago, last summer. And just consider any changes that you may have experienced in this past year. For some of you, you may have a sense of like a list. I was doing this, I was doing that. Others, my work was this way. Now my work is that way. It can be very specific or it can be very generalized. But as you consider whatever that may be, then put aside, and while you're here in your everyday reality, just as if you are sending out waves of energy from you, feel what may be happening around you, and then bring it back in. As you breathe out, and then you bring it back in, just be aware of whatever energies you may feel. Create that ball of energy in and around your heart center. You may picture it in your mind's eye, you may feel it, whatever works for you. But I see this as an infusion of light. It's as if there's a ball of light that is just circulating around your heart center. And as you put your attention on it, you may begin to feel it get bigger, or you may see it get bigger. And then consciously see it getting smaller, not pinpoint, but just get it smaller so that you can easily work with it. You then send a stream of energy. You let it go down through your solar plexus, your sacral center, your root center, and you send it down into the earth. As this energy goes into the earth, it may spread out in different directions. As it does so, it is anchoring you. It is allowing you to feel the vibration and the rhythm of the earth. And you let that awareness stream back up through that column of light. It comes back here into your heart center. And then once again, pause and just feel how that swirling energy is integrating the earth. You send it up, it goes up through your throat, your third eye, your head center, your crystalline energy bodies, and then it goes up even further. You almost immediately find yourself in the space of your higher self. As you are here within this space, take a look around. Your higher self is that blend of your divinity and your everyday reality. This is also where you may practice what is going on. So as if you are looking with your inner eyes, or maybe you're just feeling what this place feels like to you, just be aware of anything that may be going on. You then follow that thread of light. You can just see it. It's like this column that is going upward. You follow that thread of light, and it takes you directly into your soul. As you merge with your soul, feel your energy. For some of you, it's almost like there's a burst as you merge and connect with your soul, because your whole soul is such a high light vibration. Look around. Allow yourself to just feel how welcome you are. When you connect with your soul, it's as if your soul is just saying, there you are. Welcome. Let's look at this and see what comes to you. I, the goddess, walk in and amongst each one of you. I reach out to embrace you. I embrace you as the person that you are in this life. I embrace you as your soul essence. As we align with one another and merge, it moves everything into the space of the all that is. Look around. There is something new about the all that is as each one of you come into this space. You may or may not perceive that there are actually walls of energy. Most are surrounding each one of you individually, but then there's something around everybody that is here. Have you ever been, for example, inside your house and you saw a sheet of rain just pouring down outside your window, where everything was kind of blurred, You could see the rain, but it was so solid, it was almost like a wall. Consider that, and then notice how it is filled with light. And I invite each one of you to step forward. And as you do so, you are surrounded by this energy that is just flowing all around you. It makes me smile because some of you start dancing. Some of you just lay flat. Others of you just cautiously look around. These waves of energy that are surrounding you are embedded with light codes. You could also call them codes of light. These are the energy frequencies that have been anchoring into the earth. You probably recall the last time we got together and you saw the light codes of the solstice. These are different. This is the next generation, you could say. This is something that is coming ultimately from the central sun, and it has been moving towards the planet for quite some time. As you walk around this space, and as you look with your inner eyes or even just feel the frequency, pay attention. Some of you hear voices, and these voices are speaking or singing in the language of light. Some of you see patterns, and some of you just feel the pulsation of these frequencies. As you stand here within this space, just take it all in. One of the biggest things that is holding humanity back are cellular memories or belief systems or energy that is stuck in people's unconsciousness. So often, people may have a desire or a will for a particular outcome, and then when it does not occur as they anticipate, maybe that's not in their best interest, or maybe there is something holding them back from their unconsciousness. Let us step into your unconsciousness. Again, these light codes are all vibrating and sending forth an energy. So as if you are opening up a doorway, ask to connect into your unconsciousness. Each of you may have your own particular experience. I will mention several of the things that I see. For many of you, as you open that door, it's as if you are going into a dark cave or a dark room, or it just feels contained. As you walk into this room, take a deep breath in and just shine forth your light. You shine forth the energy of who you are. And as you're here within your unconsciousness, let that light illuminate whatever is here. There are so many different things that I can speak about, but these are some of the most common. In some, actually quite a few, I see it's as if you are looking at you, but as either very small or contained. And I keep hearing going around or around. I'm not good enough. That's too hard for me. I can never finish. This isn't for me. Many, many, many different excuses that people have and belief systems. So shine your light on that unconscious part of you that is based in fear and lack. Just shine your light and let it pulsate into whatever that is until it dissolves and goes away. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. As we're looking at your unconsciousness, I see again the most consistent energy. I'm not sure why I see this, but I need to speak of it. It's as if there's a stairway, and this stairway is going down. And as people stand at the top of it, they cannot see the bottom. So they stand at the top and think about it and think about it and wonder and debate with themselves. What would happen if I go down that stairs? I just noticed for some it's a staircase going up. In every situation, what this is representing are opportunities that are available to you. These opportunities, you may not know the outcome. You may not know what direction it's going to take you into. But one thing I have always believed for humanity is there are no mistakes. Every pathway you takes you to where you go. You then decide, okay, I'll stay here or I'll look for a new path. So you move down and you take another path. So this stairway, up or down, represents those pathways you have not taken. Look at them. Breathe that brilliant white light that is you into these pathways. And as you shine light upon that, take back into you the belief that you don't have to know where it's going to go. You don't have to have all of your answers. you can still take those steps and just see where it leads you. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Those steps are now dissolving. This next one makes me smile because it's like a big neon light that says past lives. Is there anything in your past lives that may be keeping you from manifesting what you seek in this lifetime? Okay, I'm going to change that. As we're connecting to past lives, I notice that there are many, many, many gifts and opportunities available to you. If you just tap into this, it's going to help you. I notice split off and on the other side that there are other past lives that have caused you to be very cautious. So as you look at past lives, make a clear intention. I will accept and receive all that is in my best interest, and I will let go anything that may have been brought forward because I am now entering a new time-space reality, and I no longer need that. You send that light into that doorway of past lives. What's interesting is I now see so many of you, it's like your consciousness is just filling up with many, many, many thoughts, realities, potentials. Everything that is being shown is now shifting forward so as to be very available to you. And as we look around the unconscious, there's always going to be more. But I invite each one of you to just be present and know whatever personal messages your unconsciousness is giving to you. You breathe in and out in that vibration and frequency. When you have done all that you need to do, it will be as if your unconsciousness just dissolves and goes away. And you find yourself back in that space where all that energy of the light codes are flowing up and down around you. They're not going upward, they're all flowing down. But some of them, it's like they're on a cycle because I see the patterns taking place. Consider the energy of this day, July 7th, the 7/7 portal. Consider the clarity that you have just received. And look around at some of these light codes. What I see happening for many of you is suddenly many of them seem almost electrified, like they light up and flash, and then they become a part of the rest. You are making a change in your own consciousness by this time spent in your unconsciousness. If you so choose, have a sense of walking around. You can put your hands through that energy. You can step into the energy, and as you step into it, it expands so as to completely enfold you. Let it just wash through you. It is also healing and releasing more from your unconsciousness. It is also activating and expanding your own personal consciousness. Feel those waves as they move through you. And then as you walk back within your space, understand that you stand here on this particular day with all of this light-coded energy, and it's your choice to put forth whatever intention you seek to have for the next month, 6 months, whatever it may be. And again, be very clear that it is what you do want to manifest. What's interesting is that as I said that, I could hear like click, 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 click. It was as if many of you were locking into or connecting into whatever it was that you needed that was going to support you moving forward. So be present. Be here. Understand that life is changing, and it is changing for the better for all of humanity. So many of you make me smile because as I look at you, you're still dancing, you're still swirling in this energy. It makes you feel good, it makes you feel empowered. It is moving through you in this space of the all that is, but it will also anchor into your physical reality. Those waves of energy just dissolve, and I invite everyone to come back together as a group. Observe how everybody looks. Look down or feel yourself and see if you can notice a difference. Within this energy, you see coming up from the earth, a hologram of the earth. It is already partially illuminated because some of these codes and energy have been infusing into the earth for the last 3 to 4 days. But as this hologram comes up, each one of you, I encourage you to just send loving impulses of light and love and potentials into this hologram. And as it absorbs all of that, it begins to spin and turn. There's that aspect that goes out to the universe, and the remainder of it goes down into the earth plane. As it goes into and around the earth, it is consciously clearing out negativity. It is consciously clearing out anything that is of a lower vibration. It goes down into the center of the earth. It anchors, and then you now have it coming up from within the earth. Each of you have your own integration that comes up through where you anchored into the earth, and the remainder of it goes up I'm sending a clear intention that these light codes, these transitions, these transmissions go into every single person on the planet. It is there in their energy field. They can, of course, refuse it. But if it's in their energy field, we're inviting it to begin to create changes, to begin to help every single person move into that higher, lighter frequency. Allow your own focus to come back into the all that is. Let everything swirl back through the soul plane. Look at your soul and how it interacted with this evening. See how you are supporting yourself through this expanded awareness. It then flows down through your higher self. You can feel it coming back down through your head center. It swirls all the way down through all your chakras. It centers around you. And as you anchor within yourself, take a moment. Beforehand, you looked 6 months back and a year back. Now look 6 months forward and a year forward. And see if, as you're looking over this time-space reality, if you can see how your energy is constantly moving upward into the higher vibrations. I invite you to continue to anchor all of this within you. For those that would like to ask a question, you may press *6 on your phone, and that'll place you in the queue.
Q&A session has started.
And then I will answer as many questions as I can. I know many of you are still up working in that higher frequency.
Good evening, Goddess.
Hello.
Happy 777. I just wonder what you're picking up from my energy and how I'm doing. I landed in Livingston, Montana today. I'm down on the water by the mountains and lakes.
Yes.
Streams, rivers.
So, beloved, you have gone through a huge transition, have you not? Because we've known you for many, many years. Yes. And as we're looking at you right now in this now moment, there is just so much light inside of you. There is, it's like you have been shedding burden after burden after burden that, as I invited everyone to look 6 months ago and a year ago, when I look at you a year ago in particular and where you are today, it's almost like a completely different person. So I know this has been a massive challenge for you. I know that there have been many, many things that you have released, but you're doing a great job because you look very, very good to me. Like you're just filled with light.
Well, I'm really worked hard at it and just let go.
Indeed.
I am getting toward the end of the Montana part. I've been in Montana all this time from one end to the other, and I feel like I want to go back to Keystone, Arapahoe Basin, Lake Dillon, Colorado area.
We think that has good energy for you. There's a lot of that, in that part of the country that that you have ancient roots. And we don't remember whether or not we've said this before, but this time when you said Arapahoe Valley, we saw that there's some ancient natives, not necessarily from 100 or 200 years ago. We're talking like 500 or 1,000 years ago from that part of the nation. And it feels like that's a good anchoring place for you, and that you'll perhaps get many different insights. You'll get many different downloads, and it just feels like it's a really good place for you to be. It's another place to really anchor all of this light energy that you've been receiving.
Right. So I did all of this work. I went through all this. It is like 20 to 25 degrees hotter here in Montana. I'm not good at this with humidity and bugs. It's very, that's been not my comfort zone. And then at night, you don't have those cool nights. It's 25 degrees hotter. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So I'm, ready to go back to, okay, that feels good then. Okay.
All right. Good for you. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you, Goddess. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, Goddess.
Hello.
This is Kathy. And boy, you hit the nail on the head with the meditation tonight. I visualized those energies up in the all that is exactly as you described them, like a wall of water. It was like these clear, kind of almost opaque, but energy coming down, fields or little walls around, and that was just amazing. And I've really felt the energy the last few days so powerfully.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it hasn't been easy, but it's definitely transforming. And anyway, I have two little questions.
Okay.
One is my nephew. I have a nephew that's been bipolar. He's close to 30. He can't hold down a job. He's had, traffic tickets and stuff. And he had to go to court today. And we prayed for him for a miracle because it was almost a certainty he was going to jail. And it turned out he didn't show up for court. He wouldn't go. My one sister, not his mother, but my other sister, went to court and talked to the attorney, the policeman that arrested him, and it was a miracle. They charged him in absentia a $250 fine, and he's fine. And I just wondered, it just seems like, we pulled out all the stops for the prayers and sending the energy and visualizing. And he was just amazed when my sister, left court and went and told him. Is this a turning point for him? Is there something that's going to turn him around? Can you see? His name is Shay.
Yeah.
And he's just a lost soul.
It does feel as if it's a turning point for him. And it does feel like, what we thought they were going to do. We're completely thrilled that it went the way it did. That's the best of the best. And we do believe that all the prayers and all the light did have an impact on it. But what we were hearing as you were talking about it, that instead of jail time or anything like that, they would understand, well, no, he's got a mental illness that needs some help, and that he was maybe going to go into a program or something, because it feels like some of his instability is like not only the energy around him having an impact on him, but it feels like he's inconsistent with medication, and that there is something that could help to balance him. So that's what we see coming forward. And that's what we thought the court was going to mandate, but it doesn't matter because we do feel that that's going to be the outcome of this.
Okay. That's the direction we want it to go to, because we do feel like and his mother, my sister is bipolar and has had, she's settled down now, but she's had issues, when she was younger, and he had a rough childhood.
Yeah.
And he's still living with her, and they just butt heads all the time. And so thank you for that. And, one other real quick question. Another miracle has happened that, for 10 years, I've needed a roof. And my neighbor died, and her son is fixing up the house next door. We're like two side-by-side 4-story condos. And he offered to do my roof, a metal roof, for cost, and he'd pay for the labor. And he owns a roofing company. And they put this metal roof, this replaced all the rotted wood. I was able to get a loan on my car, and it was just a miracle. And something I prayed and worked on, law of attraction, all that stuff for a long time. And it just fell into place. And now this new roof is on there. I feel safer energetically.
Good.
is there something? It's a copper roof. Is there something about the copper metal roof being on my house?
Yeah, we've got other people in the queue, so we can't spend much time on this. We are just going to say that it is your manifestation, and it is showing a representation of, like, if people are open to receive, others want to give. And that's something that humanity always needs to remember. You have to allow someone to give, and they enjoy that, and then that lets you be open to receive. So it feels like there's multiple different layers of this. But that's the primary energy we're getting.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi, Goddess.
Hello.
Hi. Last month was my birthday, so I was wondering if you had a birthday message for me, and then I am also still looking for a home, so just wondering if you have any insight on that.
Have you ever considered moving away from California?
I thought about it, but I don't like. You mean, not? I don't necessarily want to do it because it would be. I don't know where I would go.
Well, so the two things that came up, we know that you've been looking for a house for multiple years, and we remember looking at it another time. And instead of just being like you wanted kind of closer to the coast, or, we saw you going maybe a little more inland, or maybe a little north, or, kind of a different area of California, like within an hour or so of where you're located. But this time, for some reason, we were hearing like rural Oregon, or, like some other, a different state that might not be quite as expensive as your state. And you're right, but there's no specific one that's popping out to us. And we know you've lived there probably your whole life, and that would be a huge, huge, huge change. So the reason that we're bringing this up to you is just to ask you to consider, okay, what is my highest priority? To live in California, to live in the Bay Area, to live in, whatever it is that are your priorities for when it comes to purchasing a house. And look at it and shine the light on each one of these. And you may see that something pops up or something catches your attention, and you recognize, you know what, I'm just going to put this, we're not saying this. You may come to a decision and you say, I'm just going to put this completely away. I'm not even going to give it another thought for the time being, and I'm just going to focus on something else, and that may rise to the surface. And if you just kind of put it out of your focus and give yourself a break from worrying about it and talking about it and looking for it, then something may slide in from, like, your unconscious, you could say. So that's one thing that we see going on. The next thing that we see is that there's still, there's a lot of you that has integrated a lot of this light energy and this ascension energy, but there's still this, we see this thing that just keeps, what do you call it? Like, that bicycle wheels, and you're riding, and nothing's happening, and it's just turning, and there's nothing happening. So we still feel like there's something that's stuck. And especially when you talk about these light codes, they're very much about illuminating the unconscious, which is what the evening was, and illuminating things. So maybe as you listen to this again, without having a particular intention or anything, but just say, hey, just illuminate whatever it is. And because we feel like a shift needs to take place. And once that does, then other things in your life will fall into place. Yeah, because you've tried, you have always had the very, very best of intentions. You have always had a very clear awareness. I want to live in the light. I want to bring in high vibration. I want to have this higher frequency. And then things just kept, percolating in the background that was not letting that kept you from moving forward. So in looking at this meditation and these experiences, this is what we see shifting for you in this year to come, is that if you kind of look at what is it that I want in a house? What is it that I want in where I live? what is it that is most important to me? And maybe even if you just write down the top 3 things and then sit with it and let it just move through your consciousness, go into meditation, maybe 2 or 3 days down the road, you know what, those 3 things aren't the most important. It's actually this. And just see if there's not a way that you can reorganize your thoughts and your experiences around all of this. And in doing so, that will allow more opportunities to come in. Is that making sense, beloved?
Yes and no.
Well, we believe that probably the no part is because of that, whatever it is that we see that's spinning your wheels. We just see you as being in a rut, and you need to do something to get out of this rut. And so the way that we were talking about this, the way that you kind of evaluated what is most important for you to have in life, what is most important for you to, even if it's relationships, even if it's job, you know, no matter what it may be, just take time to really become clear with yourself about what is most important, and then just see about, you know, how you can shift your energy to be more in alignment with that.
Okay.
And then go back and listen to this again. You know, it'll be on YouTube and Rumble, and, you know, go back and listen to this again. And you can even listen on the phone line, and allow yourself to just, you know, we're sending you messages, both conscious and unconscious, and then let those integrate within you, and then listen to this again in a day or so. And it may be that you hear even more information.
Okay. I'm just so frustrated, but yeah.
And and you see, and that's the problem, because it's hard to get anywhere when you're so frustrated. So this is why you have to figure out a way to let go of the frustration. And only then can you see things that are around you, because that frustration is that continuous circle that we see you just spinning your wheels. And so that is what has to change.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, beloved.
Hello, Goddess.
Hello.
Um, I like your analogy of two paths. Um, interestingly, that I'm just interested in two different men, and they both are completely different from one another. I'm just allowing it to evolve, and I'm looking at both of them, and I've been shining light on it and just sitting with myself and being clear with it. How do I know what is for my highest good? Which path?
So, as a general rule, whatever it is that makes you feel happy, excited, light, you know, those types of upbeat things are what's in your highest interest. If you are with an individual or thinking about that individual and you feel kind of frustrated, angered, a knot in your stomach, anything like that, then chances are that's not what's in your best interest. So if both of them just cause you to feel light and excited and happy, then just be present with both of them and have experiences with them, and then see which one just, you know, shifts up. It's not about, sometimes when you're in a relationship, it's not about the right or the wrong, or meaning like newly into a relationship, or you're trying to figure, am I going to go forward with this, or what am I going to do with this? It's not about really a yes and no thing. It's about just taking in everything that's going on, everything that you're feeling, everything that you just feel, and whatever resonates with you as you think about that individual. And then the more time that you spend, because you need to spend actual time with each one of these people, then as that is happening, then you have more of a feeling of, yes, this is the one I want to spend time with. Yes, this is the one that I feel happiest with. Yes, this is the one that that resonates with me. And then as you do so, you know, you're still learning. Each relationship is going to give you experiences, and each relationship is going to help you to learn, and each relationship is going to be there and present for you. So it's about taking the time and spending time with each of them, and then however you feel after you've spent time with them or been in their presence, that is what shows you what's in your best interest or not. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. I
Well,
was
good luck,
afraid I might
beloved.
be misleading them.
Pardon?
I was afraid I might be misleading them. So,
Well, it depends on whatever promises you may be making. You know, if you're promising something and not fulfilling it, that's one thing. Or if it's just exploratory, you know, then that's another thing, you know, as you're getting into a relationship.
okay.
All right,
Thank you.
beloved.
Q&A session is over. All participants are muted.
So on this day of the 7/7 portal, I invite you to just open up to all that beautiful, vibrant energy that was surrounding you. I invite you to let all of it be a part of you as you unlock your unconsciousness, allowing it to flow into your consciousness. The vibration is changing. There is so much opportunity that is here. Be present within yourself. Be open to what is around you. And beloved, know that I am ever with you and within you. Ansaluia.